I love broken game mechanics, and Final Fantasy Tactics is completely broken, and also one of my favorite games. So I want to show you my 5 favorite ways, not 5, it's 10. So I'm gonna show you my 5 favorite ways, guys, for some reason I said 5 again, but it's actually 10, I promise, to break Final Fantasy Tactics without any glitches, hacks, or cheats. Starting with the first class in the game, Squires. Because if you want to do extra battles to grind, you can, but you don't have to. With the Squire's Fundaments ability, or Ramza's medal, more on him later, grinding is a non-issue. The generic Squire gets 2 abilities that break the game wide open. The less interesting one is JP Up. This just increases the job points your characters gain. This will allow you to open up more advanced classes quickly by getting more job points. But more importantly, the Squire gains the Focus ability, and this ability is completely broken. It raises your character's attack power by 1, which probably doesn't seem too broken to you. But the attack boost is not the broken part of this ability. It's the fact that this ability has no MP requirement and can be used an unlimited number of times. And since there's no requirement to have it take effect, any unit can equip Fundaments as their secondary ability and grind to their heart's content. Ramza's Squire abilities are even more broken than the generic ones, because he can learn the Tailwind ability. This ability raises any character's speed by 1 point. And if you don't feel like prioritizing your other characters, he can boost himself with his Shout ability. And if you feel like doing both, he can first shout to increase his own stats and then increase other characters' speed. And as Ramza increases his own speed, he'll get more turns, so the effect will compound. And since your speed directly affects how many turns your characters can take, you can give your characters so much speed that the enemy only gets 1 turn for every 2 of yours, or every 3 of yours, or 7 if you take it to the extreme. And the best way to take it to the extreme is with the Rend abilities from the Knight class, which can go really crazy. Basically, while Ramza can increase his and other units' speed, the Knight can use Rend speed to decrease other characters' speed. But alone, I wouldn't say this ability is too broken. Except there are 2 things that make it go absolutely crazy. The first is the ninja's dual wield ability. This can allow you to decrease the enemy's speed twice in 1 turn. That means double the fun and half the enemy turns, or a quarter of the enemy turns if you do it again, I guess. And the second thing that really breaks this ability is the existence of guns. You can't use guns right away because they literally don't exist in the early game, but once they are available, this ability goes crazy. Cat's doing weird stuff. Guns have an 8-tile range, which is massive. That means you can completely neuter a boss by decreasing their speed before they can do anything. And then they won't be able to do much after you decrease their speed because they literally won't get turns. But what if you could just steal the enemy's turns for yourself? Well, you can, because the thief has an ability called Steal Heart.
It's showtime!
This ability inflicts the charm status. It has some accuracy issues, but almost no enemies are immune to it, mainly just bosses. And if it hits, that enemy acts as part of your team. And as an aside, it can lead to some super weird interactions. For example, I recently charmed a thief, and that thief stole a hat from my enemy, which was nifty because then I got the equipment. At least I think I did. I haven't checked my inventory yet. Also, sometimes enemy units will attack charmed units to remove the charmed status, meaning it does double duty. Sadly though, there's a limitation to this ability. Thieves can only charm units of the opposite gender. So if you're going to abuse this strategy, make sure you have units of the opposite gender of your enemies. Editing Tantacles here again to say that most of the enemies in the late game are men, so make sure that if you want to use this strategy, you have a female thief in your party. Otherwise, you'll be out of luck. Monsters, though, don't have gender in this game, so they can always be charmed. But interestingly, the Steal Heart ability's success is partially dependent on your character's magic attack, which brings me to my next way to break Final Fantasy Tactics: Black Mages. Yeah, literally just the Black Mage itself. I don't know why the Black Mage was given so much preferential treatment in this game, but they are completely overtuned. First, Black Mages have some of the strongest area of effect damage in the game. They're able to use strong elemental magic to hit a large area of enemies with almost no grind required. But even better, very early in the game, Black Mages gain access to elemental rods, the fire, thunder, and ice rods specifically. These provide a huge damage increase to their spells, and that's not even it. They also learn the passive ability Magic Attack Up, increasing their damage even further. They're amazing throughout the entirety of Tactics, but if you really want to break them and you have some time to kill, give them the Arithmetician's abilities, Arithmetics. With this ability, you can make your Black Mage's abilities affect the entire field. You do have to be a bit careful because the arithmetic ability hits enemies based on their CT, height, level, or experience. But this is generally pretty trivial given that you can just scroll through the different abilities and choose one that only affects your enemies or your allies depending on your needs. Oh hi, it's me again. One other thing is you can equip the Chameleon Robe on your characters to absorb the Holy element, and then your Black Mage can use Holy Arithmetics, and it will not matter who it hits. It will just deal damage to all your enemies and heal your characters. Or be negated by your characters. I don't remember. Chameleon Robe. Holy. Yay. And I would strongly suggest that you use the Arithmetic skill to inflict the Frog status on your enemies. Because when a unit is frogged, it really can't do too much. Basically, the unit can attack. They deal very little damage, they take increased damage from your units, and they're easy to steal from. And you might think that I'm about to talk about stealing, but I'm not. Because the thief has an even more broken ability, Poach. Because eventually, when the game opens up, any enemy you poach will yield a purchasable item. And while most of them aren't that special, there is one that really pops off. By poaching the mid-level piggy, also known as a swine, you can obtain the Chantage. This perfume can only be equipped by female units, which is weird, but it's still broken, because it causes a permanent auto-regen and auto-life status, meaning your character basically cannot die unless the perfume is somehow removed. Editing Tantacles here to say, I think males can wear perfume now. Let me know in the comments if this is right. I haven't gotten this item yet in Evil's Chronicles. And speaking of removing things, in Final Fantasy Tactics, you can remove other characters' courage. And by that, I mean that there are abilities that lower characters' brave stat. And when the brave stat of a generic unit goes below 10, that character literally turns into a chicken. And remember when I talked about frogs? Well, frogs can still usually take actions, but the only thing a chicken can do is run away. That means you're free to steal from them, slow down their turns, refresh the status by lowering their brave again, and basically completely dominate the battle. But there's one more way to break the game that is truly my favorite, and this is number 11, it's a bonus one, because the Orator class does something even better than the thief. Now remember when you were little and you hit your sibling and your mom said, "Use your words, sweetie." Why do I have a Cruella de Vil wig lying around? I have no idea, honestly. Anyway, that's what the Orator does. They use their words. With the Entice ability, this class can cause enemies to defect and join your team permanently, monsters and people. And just to add insult to injury, the Orator can also lower the Brave stat with their abilities. That means they can threaten an enemy to lower their Brave stat to 0 and then recruit them. And yes, the recruitment chance is low, but if you turn your enemy into a chicken, they can't do anything anyway. So you can just take your time. Oh, and did I mention that the Orator can also natively equip guns? Anyway, click this playlist for more Final Fantasy videos from me, and I will see you in the next one. Use your words, sweetie. Use your words, sweetie. Tell them how you feel. Use your words, sweetie. Use your words, sweetie. Sweetie, use your words.